Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're going somewhere pretty interesting. I think the claims of a supposed time traveler from the year 2058.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this was back in 2019.
Right.
This person, using the name Kokubiyun Hajime, just kind of popped up on Twitter with this wild story, and we have a YouTube video breaking it all down, so let's see what we make of this.
I'm really curious.
Me too.
Yeah, this is a really compelling story. And I think what's interesting is that this person claiming to be from the future, they create a really specific persona, like a graduate student
Correct.
researching architecture in Tokyo.
It's not just some vague, mysterious figure. Right?
Exactly.
They give themselves a background, a reason.
Oh.
So what is the alleged reason for this time traveler's journey to the past?
Well, their mission, according to the story, was to travel back to 2019
Okay.
and purchase 1,400 units of Ethereum.
Okay, hold on now. For those of us who aren't cryptocurrency experts, could you give us a little rundown of what Ethereum is?
Sure. Ethereum is a cryptocurrency, very similar to Bitcoin, that operates on a technology called blockchain.
Okay.
It's basically a digital form of currency that's decentralized,
Okay.
meaning it's not controlled by any government or financial institution.
So this time traveler wanted to buy a bunch of Ethereum back when it was presumably much cheaper, and then just bury the hard drive with the crypto wallet somewhere safe,
Right.
and then return to 2058 and cash in.
Exactly.
Sounds like playing the long game.
Yes, they were playing the long game, and it blends that concept of time travel with a very modern element,
Right.
which is the allure of cryptocurrency
Yeah.
and the potential for massive financial gains.
It's a very clever way to kind of make the story resonate with today's audience, especially like, all those
Yeah.
people who are kicking themselves for not investing in Bitcoin a decade ago.
Exactly. Taps into that what if I had known
Yeah.
sentiment. But here's where it gets really intriguing.
Okay.
To lend credibility to their claims, Kokubun Hajime offered proof in the form of a series of predictions about events that would unfold
Oh, wow.
between 2019 and 2021.
And some of these predictions were shockingly accurate.
Yes, several of them did come true.
Like what?
For instance, they predicted that Japan would win precisely 27 gold medals at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics.
And that's exactly what happened.
Exactly.
What are the odds of guessing that right 2 years before the games?
It's statistically improbable.
Yeah.
They also accurately predicted the Yomiuri Giants winning the 2020 Central League pennant in Japanese professional baseball.
Okay. So we've got sports predictions. Anything else?
They also predicted a global stock market crash in March of 2020.
Uh-huh.
And wouldn't you know, we had Black Monday 2020,
Oh, wow.
a significant market downturn right when they predicted.
2 sports predictions and a financial crash all in a row.
Yes.
Starting to feel a bit eerie.
Uh-huh.
Did they make any political predictions?
They did.
Oh, really?
Kokubun Hajime predicted the resignation of Japan's prime minister at the time, Shinzo Abe, and his succession by Yoshihide Suga, all happening in September of 2020.
And that happened.
And as we know, those events played out exactly as they foresaw.
All right, now I'm seriously starting to wonder if there's something more to this story.
Yeah.
It's not just vague predictions.
No.
These are very specific events that they got right.
It certainly makes you pause and consider the possibilities.
Yeah,
Of course, healthy skepticism is always warranted,
sure.
but the sheer specificity of some of these predictions is remarkable.
So what else did Kokupun Hajime predict? This video we're looking at has to have more.
Oh yes, there are numerous other predictions.
Okay.
Some of which are far more sweeping and futuristic, addressing everything from pandemics and natural disasters to technological advancements and geopolitical shifts.
Let's dive into those. Give us the highlights.
Well, for starters, Kokubun Hajime predicted another pandemic would emerge in the 2030s.
Okay.
They also predicted a major earthquake hitting Japan in 2037.
Okay, a pandemic and an earthquake. Those are definitely attention-grabbing, but they also feel a bit generic, don't they?
You're right, they tap into existing anxieties about global health and natural disasters.
Right.
But Kokubun Hajime's predictions don't stop at doom and gloom.
Okay.
They offered glimpses into what they believe will be significant technological advancements and changes in society.
All right, lay it on us. What kind of futuristic tech are we talking about?
For one, they predicted the construction of a fully functional space elevator by 2050.
A space elevator that's straight out of science fiction.
It is a bold prediction.
Yeah.
They also claimed that flying cars would become commonplace by 2058, though their usage would be limited to rural areas and remote islands.
So not quite the Jetsons' vision of flying cars zipping through cityscapes.
Not exactly.
Okay.
But still, the concept of personal aerial transportation becoming a reality is pretty remarkable.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
What about the political landscape? Any major changes predicted there?
Kokubun Hajime predicted some pretty significant geopolitical shifts, including the independence of Taiwan, Catalonia, and Scotland.
Wow, if those predictions come true, the world map's going to look a lot different by 2058.
A lot different.
Anything about the financial world besides that whole Ethereum investment strategy?
They predicted that Bitcoin would reach a price of 780 million yen, roughly $5.1 million by 2025.
Okay.
However, there's a fascinating twist to this prediction.
Okay.
Kokubun Hajime claimed that by 2058, the trading of Bitcoin would be restricted to existing holdings with no new purchases allowed.
Wait, so Bitcoin would become like a finite resource?
Yes.
That's a really interesting concept, almost like digital gold.
Precisely.
Okay.
It challenges our current understanding of cryptocurrency as a constantly evolving and potentially limitless market.
Okay, so we've got predictions about pandemics, earthquakes, a space elevator, flying cars, political upheaval, and Bitcoin hitting an astronomical price before becoming a restricted asset.
That's right.
What else did Kokubun Hajime see in their supposed glimpse into the future?
They predicted Japan's GDP would fall to 5th place, globally overtaken by both Germany and India.
That would be a significant shift in the global economic order.
Huge shift.
Anything on a more personal level, like everyday life in 2058.
Kokubun Hajime mentioned that iPhones, in their time, are the size of credit cards.
Wow, talk about miniaturization.
Right?
And did they say anything about one of humanity's biggest questions, are we alone in the universe?
Actually, they did.
Really?
Kokubun Hajime predicted the discovery of extraterrestrial life within our solar system in the near future.
Okay, now we're really getting into science fiction territory.
I know, it's pretty wild.
This is also fascinating as we go through these predictions. What stands out to you the most?
What I find most intriguing is the sheer variety and scope of the predictions.
Yeah.
They range from the hyper-specific, like Japan winning 27 gold medals, to the incredibly broad, like discovering extraterrestrial life.
It's like they took every possible what-if question about the future and turned it into a concrete prediction.
Exactly. And by framing these predictions within the narrative of time travel,
Yeah.
it adds a layer of mystique and allure that captures the imagination.
It definitely does. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. We need to remember that these are just predictions. And as captivating as they are, we have to approach them with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Absolutely. We'll delve into some of the potential explanations for these predictions, from clever tactics to possible access to insider information in the next part of our deep dive.
I can't wait to unpack that further. Stay tuned, listeners, because this journey through time is far from over. Okay, so we've heard a whole bunch of predictions from this supposed time traveler, Kokubun Hajime. Some are incredibly specific, like Japan's Olympic medal count, while others are much broader, like discovering extraterrestrial life.
Right, and that's what makes analyzing these predictions so challenging. There's such a wide spectrum. Some are almost impossible to explain away as mere coincidence, while others could be interpreted in various ways.
Let's start with the ones that seem almost too specific to be just lucky guesses. Like the Olympic medal count, for instance. How could someone predict that years in advance?
Well, that's where some internet sleuths have proposed an interesting theory.
Okay.
They suggest Kokubun Hajime might have used a tactic of pre-posting multiple potential outcomes for each prediction and then deleting the incorrect ones after the events took place.
Oh, so it's like hedging their bets.
Exactly.
Create a bunch of Twitter accounts, post all sorts of variations, and then when one hits, delete the rest to make it look like they knew all along.
Exactly.
Clever. But is that even possible on Twitter?
It would certainly be challenging to manage that many accounts and predictions.
Yeah.
However, it's not entirely implausible,
Okay.
especially for predictions that involve a range of possibilities.
Uh-huh.
Take the stock market crash, for instance. Predicting a general downturn wouldn't be that outlandish.
True market fluctuations are pretty common. But what about the political predictions? The resignation of Japan's prime minister, that seems much harder to manipulate through pre-posting.
You raise a valid point. Political events can be influenced by a complex web of factors.
Yeah.
And predicting them accurately suggests either a deep understanding of those dynamics
All right.
or perhaps access to information not readily available to the public.
Okay, so we have two possibilities here. Either Kokubun Hajime was incredibly savvy about Japanese politics and managed to analyze the situation perfectly, or they had some sort of inside knowledge.
Right.
It's starting to feel like a political thriller.
It does add an intriguing layer to the story.
Yeah.
Imagine if Kokubun Hajime had connections to political circles, maybe even someone close to the prime minister himself.
That would certainly explain those predictions. But then what about those more futuristic, almost fantastical predictions? The space elevator, the flying cars, the discovery of extraterrestrial life. Those seem way beyond the realm of political maneuvering or insider information.
It's true. Those predictions seem to be grounded more in speculation than concrete evidence.
Right.
However, it's important to remember that even seemingly outlandish ideas
Yeah.
often have roots in existing scientific research or technological trends.
Right. Like we have companies actively working on space travel, and the search for extraterrestrial life is an ongoing scientific endeavor.
Precisely. Kokubun Hajime might have simply extrapolated from those existing efforts and trends, weaving them into their predictions.
So instead of having direct knowledge of the future, maybe they were just really good at connecting the dots and anticipating where things might be headed.
That's certainly a possibility. They could have a keen eye for emerging technologies and a knack for projecting those advancements into the future.
It still doesn't explain how they knew about the specific Olympic medal count or the prime minister's resignation,
Right.
but it does offer a potential explanation for some of the broader tech-focused predictions.
Perhaps it's a combination of factors, a shrewd understanding of current trends, a bit of calculated speculation, and maybe even a touch of clever manipulation to enhance the perception of their predictive abilities.
It's like they created a carefully crafted narrative,
Yeah.
blending fact and fiction, speculation and reality to make their claims as compelling as possible.
It's a masterful use of storytelling, regardless of whether the predictions are genuine or not.
Right.
They've managed to capture our attention and spark our imaginations.
They definitely have. And speaking of capturing imaginations, one prediction that really stood out to me was the concept of time surfing.
Oh, yeah.
This idea of being able to access past internet data almost like a virtual time machine.
It's a fascinating concept, isn't it? Imagine being able to revisit websites, social media, posts, news articles as they existed at specific points in time.
It would be like having a digital archive of history at our fingertips.
Right.
We could see how events unfolded in real time, how opinions and trends evolved, how language and culture changed over time.
It would revolutionize our understanding of the past.
Yeah.
We could study historical events in a much more immersive way, even experiencing them through the lens of those who lived through them.
But it also raises some important questions. If we could access information from the past so easily, would it change our understanding of historical events?
Potentially.
Could it challenge existing narratives or even reveal hidden truths?
That's the real power of the time surfing concept.
Yeah.
It's not just about revisiting the past. It's about potentially rewriting our understanding of it.
Right.
Imagine uncovering perspectives that have been lost or marginalized over time.
It could lead to a complete reevaluation of historical figures and events.
Absolutely.
We might even discover that what we believe to be true about the past is in fact incomplete or even inaccurate.
It's a bit unsettling, isn't it?
Yeah.
The idea that our perception of history could be so easily challenged or altered.
It definitely makes you think about the nature of truth and how we construct our understanding of the past. But let's bring this back to Kokubun Hajime. If they really are from the future, why would they share this concept of time surfing? It seems like a pretty significant technological advancement to just casually drop into a series of predictions.
Perhaps it was a subtle hint, a breadcrumb leading us towards a future where accessing past information becomes commonplace.
Okay.
Maybe in their time surfing is as ubiquitous as Google is today.
That's a pretty mind-blowing thought. It makes you wonder what other technological marvels they might have up their sleeve in 2058.
It certainly does, and it speaks to the power of storytelling and speculation. Kokubun Hajime, regardless of whether they are a genuine time traveler or a clever hoaxer, has managed to spark our imaginations and make us consider possibilities we might not have entertained before.
They've given us a glimpse into a potential future, a future where space elevators and flying cars exist, where Bitcoin becomes a finite resource, and where we can access the past through a digital time machine.
And whether any of those predictions come true or not,
Right.
the conversation they've started is invaluable.
Yeah.
It forces us to confront our assumptions about time technology and the very nature of reality itself.
So what do we make of all this? Are we any closer to figuring out if Kokubun Hajime is the real deal?
I think it's impossible to say for sure there's enough evidence to spark intrigue and debate. but not enough to draw any definitive conclusions.
I suppose that's the allure of mysteries like this. They keep us guessing, keep us thinking, keep us engaged.
Exactly, and sometimes the journey of exploration is more rewarding than the destination itself.
Well said. Now, there were a few other predictions that we haven't touched on yet, some of which offer even more intriguing glimpses into what Kokubun Hajime believes the future holds.
Indeed, predictions that touch upon everything from geopolitical tensions to the changing landscape of our planet.
Shall we delve into those?
Let's dive in. There's still much to uncover in this deep dive through time.
All right, so we spent a lot of time unpacking Kokubun Hajime's predictions about technology and the economy and even the possibility of time surfing the internet.
Right.
What else did they have to say about the future?
Well, some of their predictions focus on global power dynamics and potential conflicts, for instance. They foresee a shift in the U.S. military's focus, moving away from the Middle East and toward countering China's influence in the Pacific.
That's a trend we're already seeing play out in current geopolitical events.
Right.
So their prediction isn't entirely outlandish, at least in terms of aligning with current trajectories. Did they elaborate on what the shift might entail?
They predicted that China would undergo significant political upheaval, leading to a split into multiple factions after a period of internal conflict and foreign intervention. They envisioned China eventually becoming known as the Hua Nation.
That's a pretty dramatic prediction if that were to happen. The ramifications for the entire world would be immense.
Yeah.
What kind of foreign intervention did they foresee?
Kokubun Hajime didn't specify the details it's left as a tantalizingly vague element within their overall narrative.
It makes you wonder if they were intentionally leaving things open to interpretation, maybe to spark discussion and debate, or perhaps those details are simply lost to the mists of time travel.
Right. Perhaps they also predicted that disputes over the northern territories between Japan and Russia would continue.
Some things never change, even decades into the future. It seems territorial disputes have a way of persisting. But let's shift gears a bit. What did they say about the environment and our planet's future?
Kokubun Hajime painted a somewhat concerning picture. They predict that clams and other shellfish will become scarce and highly valued due to pollution.
That's a sobering thought. It suggests a future where our oceans have suffered significant damage. And it's not just about shellfish. We rely on healthy oceans for so much more food, oxygen, climate regulation.
Indeed. And the fact that they specifically mentioned shellfish suggests a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of ecosystems. Shellfish are highly sensitive to changes in water quality, so their scarcity could be an indicator of broader environmental decline.
It's a reminder that even amidst all the talk of futuristic technology and space exploration, we can't lose sight of the importance of protecting our planet. Did they make any other predictions about the state of the world in 2058?
Yes. A couple more. Kokubun Hajime claimed that the accuracy of history textbooks would be called into question.
Interesting. That seems to tie in with the idea of time surfing we discussed earlier. If we could easily access past information, it's likely that some of our accepted historical narratives would be challenged.
Precisely. It suggests a future where access to information leads to a reassessment of the past and potentially a rewriting of history. It also highlights the importance of critical thinking and the need to constantly question what we believe to be true.
That's a crucial point, especially in today's world, where misinformation can spread so easily. We need to be vigilant about verifying information and considering multiple perspectives. Do they offer any thoughts on the future of artificial intelligence, a topic that's dominating headlines today?
They did. Kokubun Hajime predicted the rise of a social movement focused on utilizing collective human intelligence to counter the perceived threat of AI.
It's a fascinating concept. It suggests a future where humans recognize the potential dangers of unchecked AI development and actively work to ensure it doesn't surpass or control us.
It speaks to the ongoing debate surrounding AI, its potential benefits, its inherent risks, and the ethical considerations we need to address as this technology continues to evolve.
It's a debate that's only going to intensify in the coming years. I suspect it's crucial that we have these conversations now as we shape the future of AI and its role in society.
Absolutely. And perhaps that's the most significant takeaway from Kokubun Hajime's predictions, regardless of their authenticity. They've sparked dialogue and made us consider a range of potential futures, both positive and negative.
It's a reminder that the future isn't predetermined. It's something we actively shape through our choices and actions.
Precisely. The future is a canvas, and we hold the brushes. It's up to us to decide what we create.
That's a powerful and hopeful message. We might not be able to time travel or predict the future with certainty, but we do have the power to influence its course.
And who knows, maybe somewhere in the vastness of time, someone is time surfing the internet, looking back at our present and marveling at the choices we made that led to their future.
It's a thought-provoking concept, to be sure. It's been quite a journey exploring the claims of this alleged time traveler. While we may never know for certain whether Kokubu and Harjim truly glimpsed the future, their story has certainly sparked our imaginations and challenged us to think critically about the world we're creating.
Indeed, it's a reminder that the future is filled with both possibilities and uncertainties, and perhaps that's what makes it so captivating.
Well said. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and thanks to all of you for listening. Until next time, keep your minds open, your curiosity alive, and remember the future is ours to shape.